that area of Michigan, a lot of bikers, a lot of farmers, a lot of brute gentlemen and ladies. Yeah,
and ladies.
And I like hand it to him, and he like grabs my hand, and he says, "Son, if you don't put more whiskey in my next drink, I'm gonna break your fucking arm."
Dear Lord.
And I was like, "Oh," and I'm 17 years old. I'm like, "Shit, I shouldn't even be here." But I loved it. The director invited me into the office one day and said, "Hey, I think this is good for you. I trust you." He kind of sold me on doing the grave shift. Whatever moves me in the right direction as quickly as possible, I'll take that opportunity. And it actually wasn't a bad opportunity. It destroyed me physically and emotionally. But I didn't really think it through. When you got no money, you have absolutely no money. It's like, well, how much worse can it get? Let's just take a risk and see what happens.
I won't let my friend get behind the wheel if I think they're messed up.
Would you fight him for the keys?
Let me put it this way. I've gotten to the point at my job.
This is going to get dicey. What about the Ole Bison? Get right to it?
Yeah, start off with, we're recording, right? We're on?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, 100 proof.
Thank you.
Bourbon, New Orleans,
Yeah,
Bison. Shout out to Jeremy Wilkinson. This is distributed through Shand, which is a new distributor in town.
Here in Vegas?
Yes, Shand. And Jeremy is historically pretty good at bringing in good juice. So
yeah, and off the beaten path stuff too. Like stuff you're not going to, like good juice that you may have not known about.
Yeah, 100%. He used to have right off Spring Mountain. It was near the Dollar, right on the corner of Spring Mountain and Valley View. He had a little shop, a warehouse, a great tasting room. You couldn't go to that tasting room and drive home. You always.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It was kind of like one of those things. It's just like a small little, it's like a table in the middle of a room surrounded by bottles, right? Like a small strip mall, right?
Oh yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah. That was a good time. I've been there, I think twice. It's funny when like, they're like, "Oh, do you want to come and taste the products?" And you're like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then like they kind of forgot or it's a new rep, like someone else joined the team and he's like, "Oh, you want to come by and taste the product sometime?" I'm like, "Yeah, I should see what you got."
Yeah, why not? Let's do that again. It was
fun. What's it like?
Last time. What's that sandwich shop? Lee's Sandwich Shop?
Oh, dude, yeah.
They'd always run and grab sandwiches for us. Like whoever's working for them would go pick up sandwiches for us, try to keep us in place.
Well, that's that Spring Mountain family, right? Like, I remember before you guys had pizza, you go get a sandwich at Lee's.
Yeah. It's an easy solution to a day of drinking for sure.
Talking about pizza, so $10
pizza, $10. Is that why I'm here?
I mean, no, I want to really get into La Casa De Juliette because I didn't talk enough about that when Jamison was on, and eventually I know I'm going to have Chase, so I really want to get the whole trifecta of the multiple concepts that you and Jamison had together since the beginning, kind of how that actually, like, where'd you meet Jamison? How did that whole relationship go?
Yeah, Juliette. I'm glad you started with Juliette because Juliette's really kind of our focus right now. Obviously, it's the new spot. But where I met JMO and I had the privilege of opening Bordeaux. I was the AGM. I had started with Michael Mina. It was kind of like an education after college. It was basically my education in hospitality. I really didn't know anything until I was indoctrinated by the Michael Mina ideology. And
what's the Michael Mina ideology?
Well, I think it's a focus on hospitality. It is really the fundamentals of service, etiquette. Fine dining was very foreign to me. So moved to Vegas. Got to turn that off. Moved to Vegas. My first job was in, I was like a temp basically in human resources, and I did the onboarding, and I would call people and ask them if they had their I-9 information. And I did that for like 2 months. And then I ended up getting a job as a assistant beverage manager at MGM Resorts, MGM Grand at the time.
That seems like a pretty lofty job, or is it just like one of those titles that?
Oh no, you're a slave to the union employees.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
Nuts.
It's like a floor manager that
anybody who survived multiple years as a beverage manager in a core property on the Strip is pretty tough.
You're juggling FMLA and those.
Yeah, you've got 500 plus employees, the schedule, all the rules of the CBA. And I ended up, being kind of the young kid. I was maybe 24, right out of school. I was like, yeah, sure. The director invited me into the office one day and said, hey, I think this is good for you. I trust you. He kind of sold me on doing the grave shift. And, I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, yes, sir. Anything you want, I'll do it. Whatever moves me in the right direction as quickly as possible, I'll take that opportunity. And it actually wasn't a bad opportunity. It destroyed me physically and emotionally because it was about 16 months of working from maybe 9 p.m. in the evening till 9 a.m. It was a terrible job. And I would put in
what with that kind of arduous schedule and thankless work, what's the purpose of being there?
I learned independence. You couldn't call anybody at 3 a.m. if you had an issue. If there was a fight in one of the lounges, you couldn't call somebody. You had to rely on basically your resources in the hotel, security, engineering, whomever it may be. Engineering, I don't even think was essentially working at that hour. So if something was broken or if there was an issue with HR, you'd have employees come in, maybe they were hopped up on drugs or something. You had to terminate them on the spot. So you had to have a pretty strong understanding of the CBA agreement, human resources, how to address certain issues because you were by yourself. I was, at 24 years old, a lot of those issues are going to present themselves and, it's a matter of kind of getting yourself out of it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It's is it kind of almost like a rite of passage or paying your dues in the sense of if you don't have that story that you started off with as,
yeah,
dude, I did that,
yeah.
Where funny enough, JMO sent me a picture of someone that had puked in the urinal at Sandollar. And Joe Calitri's going in there with send in Joe. And he's like, we've all done it though. And I'm like, absolutely, because it's one of those things where some of the shittiest jobs are kind of where you make some of the best friends though, because you're both in it. So the other beverage manager that you maybe came out on the same time, that's still a lifelong friend.
Yeah, one of the bartenders that I worked with and met on Grave is the GM of the Sandollar downtown now, David Galvin. Shout out David Galvin.
That's so
great
fun.
guy.
Dude, it's like the Sandler verse with them, it's like a Happy Madison production. It's it may not be one person's directing this place, but you're going to see the same people in the movie.
There's 2 degrees of separation in this city.
Well, it depends on the circle though too, because
when were you at MGM?
That would have been 2012 to 2014 maybe.
So we could have almost intersected because I worked front desk there for a year and I was a butler assistant in the Skylofts.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, well, I think I left 2011.
Yeah. I didn't move here. I moved here in August of 2011. I had $72 in my pocket.
From where?
From Michigan. Went to Michigan State. We can go farther back. Grew up in a tiny little town in Michigan called Caseville, the Boondocks, farm country. Graduated high school with 20 kids, tiny little spot. Then went to Michigan State, basically failed out of engineering school, but I was a bartender. Well, my first bartending gig, I was 17 years old, and one of my buddies said, hey, my aunt is doing a ladies' night at this place called the Hitching Post. It was an old church that they made into a bar. And I was like, yeah, it's not legal. And he's like, I don't think they care. And I was like, probably. Am I going to make some tips? They're like, yeah. So I showed up at this place called the Hitching Post. And it was a bar. And then in the, behind the bar, there was a couple tables. And behind that was still the pews of the church. So I showed up, that first night. And
father, he's like, that's me.
It was a little weird because I was raised a good Catholic boy. But whatever, it's a job. So I showed up and, that area of Michigan, a lot of bikers, a lot of farmers, a lot of brute gentlemen and ladies. And,
and ladies.
Yeah. And this biker comes in the bar, huge guy, and he's got his 2 old ladies with him. And he's like, yeah, we want 2 Bud Lights and a Jack and Coke. And so I cracked, these Bud Lights and I'm fumbling, trying to open them, tearing my skin open and then make a Jack and Coke. And I hand it to him and he grabs my hand. And he says, son, if you don't put more whiskey in my next drink, I'm going to break your fucking arm.
Dear Lord.
And I was like, oh, and I'm 17 years old. I'm like, shit, I shouldn't even be here. But I loved it. But I didn't think of it as a long drive. I didn't think oh, well, this is great. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. So I, tried to get into engineering school, basically I couldn't make it to a 10-20 class in college. I was a mess. But then I started bartending again in college at a place called Harper's in East Lansing, high volume brewery. Upstairs and downstairs was a nightclub, and really kind of made it. I put in my best effort to like make it a game every day. How much can I sell? Every bartender was very competitive, and in terms of speed bartending, but it was no craft at the time. That was 2000.
Bro, that's like
8, 9.
that's like every day is like a Barmania day. Like,
Yeah, I was
just like
mad.
they don't care if it's even making it.
Oh, the whole staff.
I'm the fastest.
We were all drunk.
Froze the tins down. Like, boom.
Yeah,
What was your competitive? It was like I rang in 1,000.
I can move faster than you,
It was just
and I have more people here to visit me. So like you
we'll win.
everyone's broke. Everybody's trying to make as many tips as they can. So everybody.
Hit buckets?
No, we pooled, but
Okay.
but it was like you really kind of look back and you would have your eye on like how many people did you bring in tonight? Were those your friends? Was that group of 30 that gave us $500? Was that your crew? Was that my crew?
God forbid. When you have like the bottle girl that's like, I just sold 5,000. Go get my fucking shit. And you're like,
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything like that.
oh, right.
It was like try to sneak in a shot as often as possible. I mean, you were lucky to walk out there without a major buzz most nights, but it was tons of fun.
Dude, I didn't have a wild like coming of understanding the program job. I mean, I started bartending at Carrabba's. Very unassuming, there's like two guys that were already jaded, like, no offense to them if they ever watch the show, but they were just kind of over it already. And like, not that they weren't, I looked up to them, they were cool to me, but they were also like, look, dude, stop. Like, don't do all that. You're doing too much. Like, and I'm like trying to learn, like, I'm a bartender now. And it's just like, they're like, dude, relax.
Well, I wish the enthusiasm for bartenders that were just starting out lasted longer. In this industry, I feel like it kind of dissipates.
Depends on who you're around, though, too.
Yeah.
And like what generation. Right now, we have a lot of young, talented people starting to take a very active interest. And we have some of the people that have been building their name for the last, like, let's say 5 years. You've been hearing about them in Vegas. And now you're starting to see like Jennifer Wu. She has, I don't know how many competitions under her belt now. It's freaking ridiculous. Every time I look up, she's won something else. And I've competed against her like 2 or 3 times now in the last like 4 of the last 4 competitions I've been in. And I'm always like, man, going against her because she's always, I've got I got a style, but I'm not spending 5 weeks on preparing this ornate platter for my presentation, which I need to start doing if I ever want to win. But like, I'm like, here's a cocktail. I really thought this out. This makes sense to me. This is how it tastes. This is perfect. You should enjoy it. I could see this at this kind of a bar. This is the concept of this competition, but I don't do, here's all the stuff on the side of it. Here's the platter. It's like, oh, like sometimes, you're doing a presentation and it's a tequila and someone will have like guacamole and side dip salsa. And that's the part of the drink. And that person will end up winning the cocktail competition because they're like, well, look at the setup, It's like, well, they got 25 points for in like the view. And you're like, it was only 10 points,
Right. I feel like a lot of the cocktail competitions, they need to be more specific with the grading scale.
I mean, most of them, hold on one second. I want to switch the chair.
Is it my chair?
It's not you, it's that chair. Here we switch your chair every 30 minutes. We switch.
Look at this. That's true hospitality.
Your keister stays cool.
I've never heard of that, but that is true hospitality.
What do they do here? Raise the bar.
Tempur-Pedic.
So
yeah, what we were talking about. Yeah, cocktail competitions.
Yeah, in the grading system. And I want to say it's like mostly, I don't feel, some people think it's unfair. And there was a period of time where it wasn't as honest about the grading system. And now again, there's inevitable favoritism with judges. Like it's also, it could be favoritism towards a certain type of drink to where maybe it's not the best cocktail on that bar, but that judge really likes caipirinhas. So this cocktail reminds him of caipirinha. It got 9 out of 10, whereas the other ones weren't as good as the one that makes him.
You're not going to be able to avoid all bias.
Exactly. So there, at a certain point, you have to understand there's a bias and just try your best to overcome it and be a reason that you have bias. They're like, well, I like that guy too, or that girl, so
Yeah.
I try not to blame the judges, because I don't know if it's the best or worst philosophy going into a cocktail competition. I'm like, well, I'm here to drink. I'm not really here to win the competition. I'm like, if I win, that'd be great.
Well, it depends on what the prize is.
Yeah, but if I like care too much, then I'm gonna be like disappointed when I don't get it.
Okay.
So
Next time you want to win, I'm going to talk to you about Karen more.
I mean, like, I care in the sense of I'm so grateful to be in a group of friends that all share in the same sort of somewhat hobby. And though we have different philosophies on how to approach a cocktail, or maybe we don't, maybe we totally see eye to eye. It's like, you can't be surrounded by more of your peers.
Yeah.
And
There's not a whole lot of industries
environment.
that have competitions on a regular basis that involve socializing and drinking.
The reason that there's a stigma to bartending is because the alcohol that's involved with it. Like, I don't like, no offense to people that are sober, I don't like being served alcohol by someone that's sober and being reminded that it's fine if I don't know, but like, I shouldn't have to hear about your sobriety when I'm about to drink, because now I'm bummed out that I'm drinking in front of you, and I'm like, oh, am I a piece of shit now?
Yeah.
And it's like, so part of the stigma of bartending is you're going to be surrounded and dealing with booze all the time. And I just embrace that, because other jobs don't have the activity that we have, like the movement around. Like, I get to basically, if I want to work hard, I can be in postures all day, really work my butt off, have a productive day. And it doesn't feel like that much work when you fill the bar up with people, and you're having a good time, even though you're working. I don't mind getting someone a plate of food. Like, if you're at my house, I'm doing that anyways, so.
Yeah, I haven't experienced, and I've worked with a lot of sober bartenders. But I haven't experienced too many people like pushing it down my throat. McGinnis will always remind me in January that he doesn't drink at least 3 times. But that's not like sobriety. That's just that's a break.
Though I don't know anyone that handles their alcohol better than him.
He does a good job.
It's just, he'll drink every time he'll have craft cocktails at the bar, and just, he's not one to make a fool of himself.
I don't know how many most reps do it. I'm not.
Most of them end up stop drinking. Like, they have 2-3 years. So that's one of those things with, you get a job as a liquor brand rep, people think it's such a party scene, fun. You're getting to go out every night and expense it. Well, they have to justify the expense most of the time.
Didn't Prisdale say that they had to sit him down at HR because he took too many of those sober ride homes for his first month?
Yeah, how could you fault somebody for that?
They were like, you need to chill.
Well, they're like, I think you have a problem. But it's like, dude, I don't want to. In this town,
They're like, listen, drink 3 at least before you call.
yeah.
It's like, what?
In this town, there are a lot of people driving with alcohol in their system. I'm not saying illegally, or I'm not making that call, but there's plenty that are. But two drinks, and I'm at risk. So
Yeah.
if I'm at risk, and like, that's one of those jobs, if you get a DUI when you're a brand rep, you're fired pretty much.
Yeah, I remember hearing a statistic once. I don't know how true it is, but it was like 25% of the people on the road after 7 p.m. were intoxicated. I remember hearing that. Oh, it was years ago. I think someone mentioned that to me.
Especially when you think of like the central
Outside.
hub of the place, like wherever city you're in.
Well, it's not shocking when I heard that statistic. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
And I mean, especially if you're talking about Vegas in particular.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not good. I hope people are safe regularly.
Well, that's the goal.
Seen it. We've all seen it.
We don't have dram shop laws, which for many obvious reasons, there's too many venues and too many scammers out there at a place like this that depends on tourism, to have someone suing you every time that because you didn't handle yourself well, and you maybe got in an accident, or you had domestic abuse because you got too drunk. That's on you.
Yeah.
The
onus is still on the bartender and the owner and the owners of the bar to at least create an environment where you are being cognizant of how much you're serving people.
That's ethics.
Yeah.
That's just having ethics.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
But I don't, there's a difference between, I won't let my friend get behind the wheel if I think they're messed up.
Would you fight him for the keys?
Let me put it this way. I've gotten to the point at my job.
This is going to get dicey.
Where I was like, dude, are you really like in my face? I don't want to say the person's name, but it's like in my face. And I'm like, bro, please don't do this. And it's like, I'm like, are you really about to fight me at my job? Because if I raise my hands, I'm in the wrong immediately.
Right.
So I'd have to get hit first anyways. So I'm just like, bro, come on, man. Don't put me in this spot. And he's like, give me my fucking keys. Yeah. And I was like, fuck.
Everybody's been there at your house.
I also know in the back of his head, he's like, my wife's about to kill me. And I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm getting home to my wife before she murders me for not.
Uber will be here in 2 minutes.
But
tight.
Now that's the move. So that's actually a great idea. If you just call the Uber and you go, okay, I'll give me a second. Call the Uber.
I'll pay for it.
And then you go, I'll give you your keys tomorrow. There's an Uber to your house. But I don't think he would have left because he needed to go somewhere in the morning. And he was just, anyways, it's not, but I've almost fought, but if I'm on the clock, you'd have to swing first for me to engage.
Just swing back
and I'm not going to let it get to the point where when I think you're about to raise your fist over your keys, I'm gonna be like, all right, dude.
Has somebody given you their keys and then you've been in an awkward position later because now you have their keys and you have no idea how to get to them?
No. You're talking like a stranger that you don't.
No. My buddy came in, gave me his keys. He's like, I fucked, buddy. Take my keys. His name was Marty, and he had a great accent.
Is that North Dakota or something?
Yeah, he was actually, I think he's from Michigan, but he had this weird
north of the Upper Peninsula.
He was like,
breed, man.
Fucking bud.
Yeah.
He goes, here, take my keys. So then I didn't see him for like 2 days. I texted him. I was like, yo, I've got your keys. And I finally
completely abandoned.
And we see him.
They don't even need my car anymore. I'm going to do this for 3 days.
Well, not only did he give me his car keys, he gave me his house keys.
Oh.
So this fool ends up at like 3 a.m. at a 7-Eleven, drunk as shit, falls asleep in the bathroom. Then they kick him out of, he didn't drive. So then he kick him out of the 7-Eleven. He makes it to his house somehow, hammered drunk, and he has to kick in his little side window to open up his door because he gave me his keys to his house. So he breaks his window, cuts up his hand, and then I see him a few days later. It's like, fucking, and like.
Well, my 20s, when I was a little bit more of an avid drinker, you always plan ahead. You know, you get it. Or you pick a bar that's closer to home. I used to live off at Country Club Towers.
How do you do that in this town? But keep going, sorry.
Well, I lived at Country Club Towers off D.U.I for like 5 years. And my favorite bar in the world was Davey's Locker. And it was right on the corner of D.U.I, Maryland. The place was... It was a circus. It was wild. I mean, the things that would happen on the pool table in the bathrooms, everything. They had like a trough of beer. They didn't have reach-in coolers. They just had a trough of beer that they would ice. And we actually had credit. My roommate and I, one of my roommates, we had credit at the bar. So they wouldn't even charge us when we left. It would be basically like wait till payday and we'd come in and pay them. Like old-timey. It was, those were tough times.
Is that place still around?
No, they closed it. It became some terrible gaming bar. Actually, when I got the paperwork for the Sand Dollar to sign, I think it was either lease or the operating agreement with the partners. I was sitting at the bar having a drink, and one of the partners at the time showed up to drop off the paperwork for me at that bar. But yeah, that was one of my favorite places. Right up the street from Champagne's off Maryland.
Our favorite places never last. They're never forever.
No, but they took the neon sign because now they have Davey's Locker in the Arts District. So they bought the neon sign and repurposed it and rebranded, a bar in the Arts District. I think it's called Davey's Locker.
Same owners?
No, there's no way.
Imagine.
It was the owner was like an old lady. They wanted to sell the bar. It was maybe 2 years after we bought the Sand Dollar, and they wanted to sell the bar. I think it was like $75,000 or something ridiculous. And I told Jim, I'm like, dude, I love that bar. Please don't say no to this. But we just couldn't afford it. So, but God, I wish we had the opportunity then.
I'm on search for a high proof rye.
So I'm going to keep going.
Yes. And this is
as instructed.
The Trinidad Sour.
We rehearsed this. The Trinidad Sour. Shout out to Giuseppe Gonzalez.
So, why did you suggest having the Trinidad Sour as I get the ingredients that I have almost complete?
We were talking about it earlier. When I was at that bar in college, I didn't know anything about making drinks. It was basically, whatever people had. I think like the most popular drink I would make was like Rumplemints with a ton of Hershey syrup, and I would shake it up, and most people would throw up on their way out of the bar after visiting me. Which, okay, they got their money's worth.
Because the alcohol, or because of how much sugar and
I overserved everybody there. Everybody. It was a college bar. Draft beer there was like $1.75. You had half off Wednesdays. But I remember, yeah, it was great. It was great if you had no money. Otherwise they weren't going to get any business. But the first bar, I think that it was the Trinidad Sour. This was like, I don't know, a couple years into bartending. In college, I was maybe 2021, and I like saw a magazine or something, and I saw this drink, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't even we didn't use bitters in any drink at that bar. It was, Long Island's or a triple vodka sodas. Like that was probably the most common cocktail you'd make. And
triple vodka.
There was like as much vodka.
You get a discount if you get a triple.
Yeah, can you put as much in that glass as possible? So we just overpoured. We used to have it on.
I told my wife I'd have one drink.
Yeah, one glass. And I remember like thinking, hey guys, let's read up on some drinks. Let's actually figure out what there is to this at a higher level. And I read this drink, the Trinidad Sour, and it must have just came out. Because I would have just turned 21. And, I was like, okay, that's cool. I maybe had like 2 bottles of Angostura behind the bar, and I poured it all essentially into a tin and made a couple of them. And I was blown away. I'm like, I had studied a little bit about drinks, and I knew 2-1-1 across the board, and that was like, okay, this is how you make a balanced drink. 2-1-1. I just played 2-1-1 with every drink in terms of acidity and sweetness. And then I saw a Trinidad Sour, and I loved the drink, and it blew my mind. And what's crazy is years later I got I had the opportunity to work with G, and we became friends, and so I figured if we're going to drink something, from the roots to the current state of affairs.
Have you been to his new bar?
Tamba? Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
I haven't been yet.
Wonderful.
I see it. I see a lot of it, and I just honestly have been a hermit, and
yeah.
But I need to get there. There's 2 places I want to talk about Nocturno later on because I like what they're doing. But is there anything special? Is there anything that Giuseppe's bringing to that place that goes like
There's a very extensive cocktail list. I've been twice. Once was with I went in a couple times pre-opening. Once was with a dinner with my wife, so I didn't indulge too much in cocktails. And then another time was with some media. And we had a few, but I didn't order anything, so I couldn't spiel the menu for you.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, when you go with media, you kind of get to try a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you do. If you can make friends with people in the media and you don't want to ever have to pay a bill, it's a good angle.
Like what? Why did you get a bar? Well, it's the media dinners alone.
And they usually know what they're talking about, which is great. Like you'd be shocked, like influencers who dine out 5 days a week and get invited everywhere. Like a lot of them really know what they're talking about.
Oh, so you're saying that they're actually they're professionals and their opinion is authentic. It's not.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. You'd think you'd see more bartenders that turned influencers that, maybe, I don't even know how you categorize it because I'm not very good with social media. I don't have like a big presence, but
if you look at our channel, you'd say I wasn't either.
Yeah. I'm going to watch every episode to this. So far it's been good, I hope. But yeah, you think you'd see like more bartenders who are like, oh, I know who I serve all the time, who get all this special treatment and have this huge following. But now we have a few bartenders in the city that have a pretty good following and make their drinks in their living room instead of behind our bar. I won't mention any names, but I've asked. But yeah, I mean, you'd think you'd see more bartenders who kind of shifted and started doing that. But you get these people who are maybe like table games dealers, or, they were in marketing and then they shift over and start doing, they start going restaurant to restaurant and posting videos, and they're good at that and they can make a living off of it.
Bunch of concierge because they already kind of,
yeah.
got the in.
Concierge is a different breed. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
They have this. Oh, I'm sorry. They have this aura about them. The concierge. You know what? Randomly call a concierge if you're in a bad mood. You know what I mean? You're having a tough afternoon.
Oh, God,
No, they're shutting down, dude.
No,
MGM.
they're getting rid of them. Yeah, sure. But you're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be shutting down concierge at the Wynn anytime soon.
No, maybe not the Win.
Yeah, but you probably won't get it at the Luxor anymore.
They do, yeah. At MGM.
And that's okay.
Yeah. It's concierge. Can you imagine being concierge at the Luxor?
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna shit on it. Sure.
Excalibur.
Sing my beloved Y peeler.
Gotta start somewhere. I used to call people, ask them for their ID and their passport information. So
No, that's fair.
you start places. Why is that funny?
This is the way he said it.
No. I started places, dude. I did front desk at the MGM, and then I went front desk from the MGM, then to the Win, and then I hated it. So I got into bartending, and I opened up. Well, I didn't open up. I started my bartending career at Bar Bistro at the Arts Factory, right off of Charleston and Main Street. Back before it was Crown and Anchor for a little bit, and it's been a bunch of different stuff. But
Every job is gonna teach you something.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my paychecks would bounce constantly from that place. So it teaches you how to go to different casinos to be able to get your paychecks cashed.
Yeah. The days of when you owed the bank because you overdrafted.
No, well, that guy. For
Louis
sure.
C.K.'s got a great bit about that. About I'm not broke. I have minus $25.
I'm curious to see what you think, how I did.
What, did you make it wrong?
I don't think so, but I'm not.
I would assume you know how to make a. You're like follow this.
I'll tell you how many times I've made this. Twice. This is probably like the third one in my life, maybe.
We made it on the first podcast.
I mean, let's see. I had it right here. This is the exact recipe. 1.5 ounce ango, ounce of orgeat, 3/4 lime, 1 ounce of rye.
Yeah. No, it's delightful.
Wait, you just said it was off.
Well, I mean, you could be a little bit off, and it's still a great drink.
That's painful because now I'm being patronized.
I haven't had it in at least 2 weeks.
God damn it.
The last time I ordered this recently, but prior to that, it was probably like, a couple of years. I forced Giuseppe to make one at Mont 32 once, but
I mean, it's 1.5 ounces of Angostura. So, I mean,
tastes like Angostura.
shockingly does taste like.
We mentioned this.
Angostura.
At one point, they weren't paying their taxes.
So
Nobody could make this drink.
So what happened with that? They just disappeared for a while, right? That Australian one popped up.
Pause question, because I do want to tell what I've made here. So, I mean,
it looks beautiful.
I'm looking forward to comments telling me if they saw what I did wrong, because I would love that. But 1.5 ounces of Angostura, it comes off with a lot of Angostura. Now, I have shitty ice, so I didn't want to overshake it. That is a factor. Normally, I have my hand chipped ice, but I was being lazy today because I had an event. That being said, I did 1.5 ounces of Angostura, 1 ounce of orgeat, 3/4 of lime juice, and 1/2 ounce of rye per cocktail. So multiply that by 2, shook it, poured it. I mean, so that's Trinidad Sour I was told to do. I'm not a big fan of it, but I also know people. Huh?
What don't you like about it?
It's Christmassy.
Yeah.
If this was
So what's Christmassy, like clove?
like, yeah, the clove and the cinnamon together, and that like baking spice, just like a lot of baking spice
Overpowering.
versus where like an old fashioned you get that hint of Angostura. When it's so much Angostura, is it like, wow. Now I also, it's funny that this cocktail has been talked about 4 times or 5 times on this podcast.
Christian made it, right?
Oh, that's right. And honestly,
this one.
my memory, no, it's been mentioned, but it was only made on the first episode. And I don't even remember how that went down. I really want to look at that and see how he enjoyed. Now, Christian has been making this cocktail a lot longer than me, so he may have even, I see a lot of people adjust proportions. This is the recipe that I grabbed off of liquor.com. And so supposedly 2009, Giuseppe Gonzalez made this for a cocktail competition, which he didn't place, but it was sort of like a cult following afterwards. And that was inspired by the one that was created a year before, which was the Trinidad Especial. and that was by Valentino Bolognese, or I'm butchering the name. But and his was like pisco and lime. Wait, is a Trinidad Sour supposed to have lemon juice?
I think so. But can we,
Yeah, it is.
we don't have any fact checking here, huh?
Son of a bitch.
Oh well, that's all right. Maybe that.
Well, you know what must happen.
Oh, cool. Like it. I'll drink this one.
Yeah, we had a huge order. Like I said earlier, we had a huge to-go order, and someone was throwing a party at the house, and I had to randomly squeeze 32 ounces of lemon juice before I left Juliette today.
What kind of lemon juicer do you guys have? Do you have one of those hand ones that cranks?
Yeah, for that, we have a big commercial lime juicer, which
Is that like the Sunkist one where you throw the lime in and it does it?
Oh no, not Sunkist. I honestly I don't know the brand. I probably should, but for the limes, that makes life a lot easier for us. But for the lemon, yeah, I just went back there and cranked it, which is great. It's nice to do those things. When you're a business owner, you just throw yourself in wherever you're needed most. You know, Father's Day, I probably spent 5 hours washing dishes and polishing silverware and glassware. And it was our record day for us at Juliette. Which
Really?
was
Oh, that's cool.
such a blessing. Yeah.
I want a reference.
Have you dined there?
No,
Gotcha.
no.
It's the opposite. I live deep in Henderson, so that
I don't travel, and I stay inside or I go to my few haunts.
Yeah, it is a trip if you're on this side of town or in Henderson, for sure.
Well, actually, no. It was a drunken night. Yes,
You've been there.
yes. Vegas on acid. Great wine. You need to get it back.
Great wine.
You need to go back.
One bottle left, and
That's how much
chase
fun
you
night it was.
for me.
I totally
Sure.
blanked on that. Yes, dude. I forgot what we
It was
did.
that memorable.
Well, no. It was. I came from a wine tasting. It's all coming back to me. I came from a wine tasting, which I was underwhelmed with, because I'm not gonna say where it was, but the guy he knew enough about wine, so I'm not like, ooh, he wasn't as smart as me on wine. He knew more than I knew about wine. But I somehow additive free came up. He brought it up, or someone asked him a question, and he's like, "That's a gimmick. It doesn't really matter. Additive free is not a real thing." I was like, in the back of the room, I'm like, "Sir." I was like, first of all, this is when I was still working with Cierto too. So I was like, "Listen, bruh, I'll bring you a fucking bottle right now." It's after that experience, which I didn't fight him. He had his things to say. Hey, he's like, that's all a gimmick. That's not really, everything has additives. They can put it, I don't know if this is true. He said they can put like sugars in, like they can douse the agave in sugar before they distill it, and that wouldn't be considered additives. I don't know. Like, he was saying things like that, and I didn't really know how to vet that, because I know once it's distilled, that's when most of the additives are being put in, the caramel, the glycerin. And I know that when it says, and you hope that it's accurate, that they say additive free, that it means that there is no caramel additive, glycerin, vanilla extract, oak extract. Now, I don't know, and I hope someone can tell me, if you do stuff to it beforehand. So you harvest the agave, you chop it up, and then you cook the agave before you ferment the agave. If you add stuff to the agave there, do people do that and then still call themselves additive free? Because it's not one of those 5 things that you can add.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So
I just can imagine they got a guy with a syringe just like injecting little bits into the pineapples.
Squeezing the poison.
Well, I mean,
he's just like,
there's a lot of controversy right now with additives in a certain couple brands of tequila that have been big sellers for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think it's a controversy.
It's not a controversy.
Like, everybody knew it.
Once again, we were kind of breaking this down. Like, who cares, right?
Tequila kind of really took off in COVID. Like, COVID was, I don't know why. Maybe everybody's sitting at home and be like, you know what I really like now?
Margarita.
Or just give me that sweetness. And those big sugar bomb tequilas, those vanilla bomb tequila just skyrocketed. And good for them. Drink whatever you want. Let's just be honest about it. Let's be honest about what you put in the drink. Let's be honest about, and I'm not saying like regulation, because I'm a liberal at heart, but when it comes to your, like, we're already poisoning ourselves. Like, tell us what you're doing, you know? Tell us what's going on the crops before it goes, before it's distilled. Tell us all of these things.
If you're going to go into business, you should take a little bit of pride in it, you know?
Sure.
And if I don't know, if you can't do it the right way, I don't even think people would mind, because I think people now, like Casa Azul, the people that buy Casa Azul now don't care that there's additive. You know, they don't care. They're like, oh, the pretty bottle, the one with the bell.
Yeah, ding ding.
You know, so it has nothing to do with the actual spirit. And you're like, okay, and hey, there's a market. I actually realized I poured the whiskey into my glass. There's a market for everybody. You have it. Yeah. You have plus I did an event today, and it was with like friends. So I was drinking at the event. So I was a little pre-gaming myself.
What was the event?
A friend for a company that I normally work with had a party at her house. It was a baby shower. It was really fun. I made a Spirulina blueberry mojito. So it was like all blue, like baby.
Bartended the baby shower.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of my life.
I'll never forget it.
Babies weren't good.
You better name that baby after you.
I think Tater said it on like a recent episode that, once you become a professional bartender, your family expects you to bartend at every event. They're like, oh, get over there and make my lemon drop. And you're like, yeah, my mom expects like 2 lemon drops a night if it's a night where we're having people over or whatever. My mom comes and visits. You know, I'm making 2 lemon drops for my mom, and then everyone else in the restaurant in the house is going to want a margarita or whatever, and they're not going to want to make it themselves. And I don't know how to say no.
Can you bust coffee table number 4 for me?
You got to convince them that just drinking liquor straight's more delicious.
Yeah. You really need to taste the vanilla notes in this tequila.
You know, that's my problem. If you see a really beautiful bottle, assume the tequila's not that great, because why do they need to, like the one that's got, I don't know who the brand is, and I don't think anyone drinks it because it's such a beautiful bottle, but it's like a dragon. And they're like, oh, it's tequila. It's tequila. And it's like a freaking dragon that you never want to open because it's like such a cool design. But you're like, I bet you that tequila sucks. You know?
Yeah, and they charge like, 50% more because of the ceramic bottle or whatever.
Exactly. That's the Casa Azul.
Well, that's a lot of cognacs too.
There's a lot of popular brands that are very ordered, and I'm not going to hurt their bottom line at all by saying this, that people just look at the pretty bottle and go, I want that. And they know what they're doing.
What about Crystal Head vodka?
I don't even remember tasting it.
That was the skull.
You know who owns that?
Dan Aykroyd?
Yes, sir.
Where's our vodka
fan at heart
here?
He does that because of those crystal skulls that they have that are supposed to be alien skulls. Because he's a huge alien fanatic.
His family, I coincidentally watched a Ghostbusters, an all-inclusive history of Ghostbusters.
You did?
Last night.
Oh, really?
I am a nerd.
How long is the history of Ghostbusters?
Hour and a half.
Oh.
But it's pretty cool.
It's a short history.
Well, I mean,
Are you talking about the documentary?
Not like real Ghostbusters, like, there's only 3 movies. Well,
I think they have 5 or 6 now.
5 now. And 4 if
the lady one doesn't count.
No one counts that.
What?
They made a lady one.
Is that up the ladies, Ghostbusters?
Stay like, we liked what you did with the last one. Let's completely flip it on its head.
They were probably good at finding ghosts. Ghostes?
I honestly, yeah. Yeah, I think
it's geese when there's multiple.
Geese. Well then.
No, so okay. I want to we got sidetracked.
Oh, we got it right.
It was lemon. I did look it up.
I don't know why I put lime. That's so weird.
I knew something was off.
You didn't sleep much.
I had it 2 weeks ago, and it just tasted different when I was half in the bag at where was that?
Do you want some of this?
Yeah. Cheers.
Another one of the cocktail bars that just opened up in the Arts District.
Better?
The Doberman one? Doberman. Oh, the speakeasy one, right?
Oh, that's on point.
Better?
Bless you.
I still
don't like it, huh?
Still not sold.
Too much Christmas.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and it's so ironic that because I messed up, I had to use double the amount of bitters. But I told this to Christian on episode 1.
Completely out.
6. That you used a bottle and a half.
This is, how many is this? 5 ounces?
4.
This is 4 ounces. So technically, I
A
used
bottle and a half.
1.5 of these bottles.
Yeah.
Well, you're making sure they can pay their taxes.
Painful. Angostura.
So wait, what's the deal with that, by the
Come
way?
on, if we talk about a Trinidad Sour anymore on this pod,
I think they owed.
Angostura
I think they owed import taxes.
It was because of the way that because we were talking about this too. It's a non-potable alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So it had something to do with that. Like they
With their
changed
designation. Yeah.
they changed it on them, and then they just continued to operate like it had been before. So they owned a bunch of back taxes. Because I remember the Australian company. You ever seen those bitters?
Yeah, everybody came to the table as soon as they were,
I remember them just being like, "Hey, there's all this drama with Angostura. This is what we
even 750s.
Yeah, this is what we use now."
Yeah, it wasn't never as good.
It wasn't the same, yeah.
It wasn't the same.
So I wanted to go back to La Casa de Juliette because that story wasn't over. So I had a bad experience at the place that I did the wine tasting. Bad experience is rough, and then we go to Juliette. That was like part of the plan was, or I didn't know that we were going to get out of there in time. And I text Jamison. I was like, "Are you guys still open?" And he's like, "Oh, they close at 9:30 or whatever, but there might have been 10." And he's like, "But coming through anyways." And it was like right on the cusp. And I was like, no, dude, I'm not coming in there with 15 or 30 minutes left with group 8. I'm not getting that guy. And he's like,
please do.
And that's exactly what he said. He was like, please do. Now, the only thing I think that could even be the reason for that is because you're so far away is the only reason I don't go there all the time. Because for me, it's opposite end of town. But for my homeboy, Mike, that went there, had the time of their lives. We had I honestly, I felt a little put like an asshole because I'm like, bottle of wine, and then they're like, oh, you're going to be here a while.
Yeah.
Eggs on acid is delicious.
They don't sell it anymore, I don't think.
So better. It was so perfect with your
right
too.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Some of that
varietal.
You have plenty of spice on some of those dishes, and that Vegas on acid with your cuisine. So I'm sure there's a lot of wines in that category. It's kind of like it's almost like a natural wine, but it reminds me of and this is gonna sound weird, but it reminds me of a sour beer, but in the lightest and most effervescent and approachable way. But I love sour beer, so I mean it in like out of love. But I had a great experience at La Casa de Juliette, and the only reason I haven't been back is because it's like a 35-40 minute drive for me.
Yeah, Juliette's doing well. It's you take a big risk when you open up in a market or outside of the norm in a market, off the beaten path, I would say. I mean, it's a very beaten path, but it's beaten with a bunch of restaurants that are not in that category.
Well, and also when you live, so when you have your established regulars in a distant part of, or in a certain part of town, like even think of Henderson or wherever, when it's like that subset of the town, and there's the people that go to the restaurants in that area, and they know, but they have their spots that treat them like, hey, it's Nancy and Phil, and they come in and
it's like your Davy Jones,
and they know, like, hey, we always come and say hi to them, and we have to make sure to give them give them like a half off their salads or whatever. You know what I mean? There's like something that they always have special treatment, and it's those locals in those communities, they find their spots, and they're like, well, I get treated so well there, so I go there Wednesdays and Saturdays. So you just need to break in to where you become part of that rotation. Where they're like, oh, I go to La Casa de Juliette on Tuesdays, I go to Big Dogs on Wednesdays. Because that's a great area of town, like you said. I would be like dinner at your spot, go to Big Dogs for band later that night. Sometimes they have the live bands, I think, still.
Yeah, you got Big Dogs, I think, is still a bit of a hop, skip, and a jump up the street, probably 15 minutes. But
shit. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. And this town, I mean, like anywhere 10, 15 minutes isn't bad.
Yeah, you still want to capture people's attention. You want to make it convenient. But in that area of town, in the 2 zip codes on either side of the 95, you're talking about 30,000 roofs. So it's not like people don't live there. It's just a matter of capturing their attention, making sure they recognize, like, hey, I have this new restaurant that is in our neighborhood that we can have, it's elevated. We can have amazing experiences there. We can celebrate birthdays. We can celebrate anniversaries. We designed the menu and the concept around family style, making it shareable, where it's a little bit more communal dining and exciting. And I really think it's moving in the right direction, which is great. And we've had a lot of different initiatives lately that have helped.
So what's cool about you guys, you always listen to your guests and everything. So
You have to.
I remember when it was almost unthinkable to even go like no smoking at Sandauer. When I hope everyone knows there's no smoking.
I think we were the first bar, if I'm not mistaken, we were the first gaming bar off strip to go non-smoking in Nevada.
Crazy. And I remember Jamison being like, I think I'm going to do it. And it's like, well, you got all your gamblers that are going to be mad.
Sure.
That chain smoke.
Is that a legal requirement? Don't you have to have non-smoking if there's food?
Oh, I don't know the exact requirement now. I think it depends on kind of what your liquor license is.
Yeah.
'Cause for a minute there, I thought that if you served food, you had.
I don't think it's like, because it's a takeout. I don't think it's the same. But either way, like
with technicality.
Well, either way.
Well, yeah, I think it depends on your license and
because sole restaurants can't have.
well, you can't smoke. I remember when they banned it in Michigan. The first couple restaurants I worked in Michigan back when I was a kid, I used to wash dishes at a place called Sweeties when I was like 15, and we'd be rolling silverware, and they'd be like this biker lady, like smoking a cigarette, not on break, like
on shift.
Yeah, just like the Sunday church rush just ended.
Ashes are dropping into your
She'd
pot.
be like, back in the day, this guy did wrong by this girl, and in the gang took him, castrated him on the pool table. Like telling me crazy stories like, with a cigarette, like a Virginia Slim in her mouth. That was like my introduction.
I know this woman.
Yeah,
I can see this.
everybody's done that.
Castrated somebody on the phone.
That was like one of the first stories I think I heard when I was working in a restaurant. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I'm not going to repeat this to my mom and dad, but
Have you?
they're gonna no, you watch your language around them. You don't say castrated around pops.
Castrated is a bad. My mom's a cocktail waitress here in town.
Oh really?
Yeah,
She's heard castrated before.
It's my parents.
You apply that to like steers and bulls in there.
Yeah, there was a different time in our history too that happened. Weird. Anyways, so I wanted to
I'm
ask.
just saying castrated would be like the least offensive thing my mom would hear.
Well, I just don't think it's like, hey, Mom, today they talked about chopping a dude's nuts off on a pool table. She'd be like, well, you're not working there anymore. Well, there goes
I
$5.25.
don't know if you are familiar with current day podcasts that women listen to, but castration's probably pretty mild.
Well, now it's getting heated because, I mean, talking about women in the sense of
They love murder mystery. They love hearing the most horrific shit.
the stuff that keeps them up at night that makes them go like, babe, I'm scared. Come to bed. And you're like, you wouldn't be so scared if you didn't read all the most horrible things.
Dude, it's not even that, dude. My wife casually watches Criminal Minds. She's like, it takes the edge off for me.
Wait, Criminal Minds, like, there's this show on TV, right?
Yeah, but they're talking about like the most horrific shit that you could do. Rape, capturing
Well, there's
people,
a reason why women are drawn to that. And I can't remember.
Why does it make them comfortable?
I don't think it's comfort. I think it's
I
like,
need the excitement.
yeah, it's the excitement.
It's just a little buzz.
There's some has to do with the DNA of the
I mean, honestly, I just feel like I think you're. I remember watching CSI with my family, watching like at dinner, where the whole family was watching CSI. That stuff happened in CSI, like the first one, not like the 30 other spinoffs. But
Well, there was a day and age that was the best show on TV.
exactly. So I think honestly, we're just in. Don't get me wrong, the murder mystery things that are like documentary, like
That's what those podcasts are about. They're talking about like, oh, he helped tied her up, then torture her day in and day out. And then
If you like to laugh and you like those stories, watch Last Podcast on the Left.
I have.
That's the best, dude. They're hilarious. They go really in depth. I never thought we'd talk about this on this podcast, but they go really in depth into these murders and homicide scenarios and the sickest people in the world, and they just mock them the entire time.
they make light of it.
They do. Yeah. Oh God. If you're on your way from like LA to Vegas, you're 4.5 hours with your gal, she's gonna love it. and you're gonna love it too.
That's good. That's good to know.
It's like the cooking shows when you're stuck at the hospital and like all that's on there is like you can click through and it's just three
create
cool
channels.
And it's like,
12.
I guess we're gonna watch the Food Network and we're gonna watch another cook off.
Guy Fieri.
And then you end up like you're like into it. You're like shit. I hope they don't have
Never.
right.
Can't watch that.
Gotta hope.
Can't watch.
I wanted to ask because this I always found it's like weird to hear a person is owner of not even just one major bar in town, but 2 major bars and a restaurant in town, and you still have a job that's not involved with those.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, jobs are good. Better to have them than without.
jobs are good. You heard it here.
Stay employed. Stop milking that unemployment.
I think regional manager at Mount
Worse.
32, and I think you said 7 years.
7 years. Yeah. Yeah. So we had the Sand Dollar. That was its own episode. And well, we had to decide when we bought the dollar, like who was gonna be on premise, who was gonna be still pursuing whatever they were gonna do.
Wow, this is a real relationship.
Yeah,
I'll stay home with the kids.
for sure it is.
You go to
So
work.
we bought the dollar. It was my 26th birthday, I think, was the day we signed. So I'm a kid,
Yeah.
you know.
Just got out of your insurance too.
Game-o.
That sucks.
You could rent a car.
I mean, I'm a kid with 3 roommates paying $450 a month rent. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I had just gotten this AGM job. So I was running Pub 1842 at MGM Grand. You remember that bar?
People are just meant to run
It
shit.
became the barbecue place, International Smoke. But it was originally Pub 1842. So I left the assistant beverage manager job and became the like bar manager of Pub. Like I was infatuated with beer at the time. And I told I wanted to move up as quickly as possible. Obviously, everybody at that age when you're broke wants to move up as quickly as possible. So I went. I took my time off and I flew up to San Francisco to open up Levi's Stadium and the venues there for Media Group on my own dime. Slept on my buddy's couch. On my 2 days off, I went to Strip Steak and Stodge there to learn kind of etiquette and fine dining to put myself in a position that when we opened Bardot, I would be at least considered for the position of AGM. So what were you talking about right before that?
Well, we're talking about how you got to working so much
Yeah.
and getting to Mott and why
Mott.
you're doing this on top of owning.
Well, we had to decide, right? So I get in as the AGM of Bardot. We hire JMO. 6 months later, one of my friends is saying their parents are selling a bar. I'm like, okay, that sounds fun. We ended up buying the bar, obviously. We
bought it.
So we bought it. I was literally gonna, before I even talked to JMO, I was literally planning on like selling my car and riding a bike to work. Like whatever it takes, we're gonna do this. Italian beer.
That is a ballsy move, by the way, riding your bike to work in Vegas.
Well, I didn't really think it through. When you got no money, you have absolutely no money. It's like, well, how much worse can it get? Let's just take a risk and see what happens. But yeah, so JMO, it was established that JMO was going to run the bar, and then I would fill in on my days off. So I was working like 60-hour weeks at Bardot, and on my 2 days off, or 1 to 2 days, Tuesdays I ran the bar at the Dollar,
So basically, are you telling me, and I don't know if this is too personal, but are you telling me that because you're such a partnership and you invested in these brands together, that now because he's doing the sweat equity in-house at Sandauer, and it doesn't take 2 of you, so you're basically like, okay, here's what I made this month. Like, here's my income. Here's your chunk.
Well, I wanted to make sure.
I mean, I get it, but it's also like crazy.
If you're a decent person, you're like, now we're married.
But what if you're me, though? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Yeah, like you're a decent person.
only the Lord knows.
Hey.
No, if you're a decent person,
You're avoiding ad.
listen, I was raised like strictly Catholic, good guys. So I was raised on like, don't lie. be true to your word, like be a decent human being. Okay, at the very least.
This guy.
And you try to follow those principles throughout business for the rest of your life, at least, if you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself, well, this guy who's helping me buy this bar, who's going out with me, at the very least, I want to make sure let's get him to where he was before he made this sacrifice. So we're all going to make a sacrifice, but let's get him to that place, and then I'll feel a little bit more fulfilled. So on those Tuesdays, I would take the tips I made. I would look at a 14-hour shift. I'd go in, clean the bar, whenever, get it set up, whatever, maybe. We didn't have a lot of guests back then, so it wasn't like I was in the weeds ever. And a lot of them, yeah,
small amount.
I mean, a lot of times I'd be like, okay, well, if I'm gonna like go somewhere, at least I can have a few drinks on the shift. I am the bar owner, but
Amen.
I'm 26 years old. I'm not like the most mature human being, but I would take my tips. I would give it to JMO. And then if I ever exceeded $300 of tips, he'd be like, keep 100. You know what I mean? I was like, I got an extra 100. But it was like, how do I get him to at least living where he was? And then, life kept going on. So I had to decide. I didn't make that decision and he had to make that decision, who was going to kind of run the bar on a day-to-day basis. And he took it upon himself, which is huge in retrospect. Like, he really carried that bar for years. He was there 5, 6, 7 days a week regularly. And I was there maybe 1, 2, because I was still working a 60-hour job at Bardo. And then when I left Bardo, I was the GM of Sage, which was, still, you're the GM of fine dining restaurant on this trip. You're working 60, 70-hour weeks.
Especially if you care and you have this kind of attachment to the city.
Yeah, care or not, you're going to get fired if you
right. Yeah, you're not there.
care or not. Well, I mean, only manager of that restaurant. So it's like,
oh yeah, one manager.
I was the only manager. I was working. So we were closed 1 day a week, I think, at the time. And
That's 6 days a week.
I worked 6 days a week, and on my day off, I would show up to the.
Where was Sage? Is it still around?
Sage was at what is currently Cathedral to the left of Catch at the Aria.
By the way, you got off in a helicopter.
That was my favorite restaurant in the world. I loved it. Chris Heisinger, the chef, amazing cuisine. Yeah, Rich Camerota, Sean McLean, those guys, really elevated dining. I would light absinthe on fire tableside. You'd huff it through a straw. It was a blast. I'd always do one with the guest.
You're like,
at least I would probably well, I'm bored. There's 120 people here tonight. You know what I mean? But then, I really tried to push that restaurant, but all throughout.
You say 120 people, you mean like that's nothing?
That was the covers.
I mean, yeah,
that was nothing. We would have.
No, I just wanted to mean like 120 was like bad. If you're like, I got time on my hands. There's only 120 people here.
120 would only be good if your space was as big as this house.
Yeah, it's fine if you have a $375 check average, like Giambrone or whatever it may be, but it's not if you're like running 140. That was whatever. But yeah, I was running that. So for the first couple, 5, 6 years of owning the dollar, in the back of your head is, I have this, bar I own. I'm also maturing. I'm 26, 27, 28. And my business partner is running on a day-to-day basis. So you're kind of detached and you get to wear all these hats. And JMO,
it's a bit endearing. I mean, honestly, it kind of makes me think of like, wow, my experience with, not personally, but my father's stories of partnerships, and the reason we left New York to come here was a business partnership gone wrong. So then I have this kind of like protect yourself mentality, and I will do anything I can for people. And I was telling him today, like, I'm the worst at advocating for money for me, because I'm always like, well, I like them, so somehow,
you
like,
got to think big picture when you're a business owner. It's think big or don't take it all.
I like it. I'm just saying, it's nice to hear that exists, because I've been kind of afraid of partnership, because like when it comes to like financially, because it's like,
you should be.
Well, and of course, but when I hear this, it gives me a little bit of hope that, man, like, dude, what a solid team.
Like, it can work.
Oh, you'd get lucky.
Go into business with somebody and go like, dude, we got each other's back. And you're like, how? Well, like, well, he goes to work at his other job and he's honest with me about his money. Like that's money separates friendships.
When you have none, it 100% does.
Just greed in general.
Every penny matters to me. And Jamie knows how frugal I am, but like I think about every penny.
That's why you're so good at poker.
I did win a little bit last week.
Motherfucker.
Not a lot, but a little bit. I don't know who walked away with the most, but look, dude, I did fine.
It's a business. I run a business.
But let's say this: you just always need to be honest with what you say to the best of your ability. You know, you're gonna toe the line sometimes, but also always be honest with your partner. You always hear like people talk about like the most important decision of your life is gonna be, if you so choose, the person you marry, right?
I beg to differ.
Of
James have a ring on this finger.
At the very least, the second most important decision you make is who you go into business with, for sure, because you're essentially married.
Yeah, you are. It's like the same thing. You're going into business with. I know it's not romantic to say that, but essentially, we're like, hey, have a
business with.
All right,
proclivities.
Like just
yeah.
Unless you do something terrible, you get out. All right, there you go. Sign up. Cool. We're on a team. Like. Awesome team.
Let's not cross too many lines here. But no, yeah.
Think about being a new father.
When I got married, J-Mo gave a speech at my wedding, like saying, so I was Nathan's, like, and it was, of course, we're in Crete. We got married in Crete in Greece. And he gave a speech, like, it was impromptu. I had no idea he was going to talk. And he like opened with essentially like, so I was Nate's first wife. And that's how it is. Like, you're in bed with them, man, and you better hope, like, gonna argue. You better hope like your business partners are honest, they have integrity. You're never gonna always see eye to eye, but you got to choose which hill to die on, and it's just you're both playing a game together, and you have different upbringings, and you have different perspectives of things, but you hope that, and over time, it's more obvious that they're making decisions in the best interest of you, even if you don't completely agree with it.
Yes, and it's actually coming to terms with how much do I trust this person, and it's just rare, and it's a breath of fresh air, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's great. It feels good. I mean, if he hasn't screwed me over at this point, 10 years later.
Well, you just picture yourself now. It's like, oh, fucking, I can see the, down the road.
Yeah, no, now we enjoy it. We enjoy the banter. We enjoy the disagreements. In the earlier years, when I was a wild 20, I mean, imagine, I put myself in their position. They went into business with like a crazy 27-year-old, drank every night, like hung out at Davey's Lager, like did whatever. No boundaries. Like, hung on at Davey's. No, I mean, like I think they're a little nuts for going to business with me, but I was so confident.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? And I haven't heard you not work 5 jobs. Like, you're like, so I was born.
How hard is it? Is it that hard?
Right then, I was like,
I always had a lot of jobs.
Like, how can I help?
My dad used to pay me a penny to pull a weed out of the ground. Like, so he like pointed all the weeds in the yard.
He's going to neighbor's yard.
Hey, I'll give you a penny for every weed, but he only gave me a penny if I got the whole root. So you're talking about like a dandelion root?
Not just teaching you financials, but teaching you
root. Yeah, you do it. You do the job, and you do it to a T.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I feel like if the root was broken, if it didn't have like the tiny little hairs at the end,
usually 4 hairs.
So I would try to get 75 weeds, so I could ride my bike up to the Beetle Bay Arena and buy myself a Coca-Cola out of the vending machine. It was like, that was my goal. I work all out.
What are you? You're just missing some fucking suspenders and one of those little ball cap things of old school.
Are you talking about the newspaper guys?
I had 2 nickels. I went and got a Coca-Cola.
Listen here, see?
I saw it.
Get your papers.
Dude, I know, I like that though. That's
cool. My parents, we grew up with no money, but my parents taught me, like, you work your ass off.
Right.
And when you grow up in like a blue collar community,
so there's
houses, framing, working in fiberglass.
I'm in Rochester, New York. It reminds me a lot.
Whatever you can for a buck.
And that's the beauty of not living in a major city when you grow up.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the neighborhood raises you.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember I was pissing at my parents or something, and I was very little, and I took my Care Bear Care Bear suitcase, and I walked 15 houses down to the Deepest Quali's house, and I was like, I'm running away, and she's just like, your son, she called my mom, your son's running away, and and my mom was like, well, I'll send him home before dark, and it was like, the neighborhood raises you, and you're never not safe. Nowadays, you can't. You're like, where's Timmy?
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Well, I hear stories of parents getting like fined or arrested for letting their kid go down the street, which, hey, Vegas is
Survival of the fittest, kid.
the boondocks of Michigan. And basically nobody lives there, so most of the time you're just, you're more worried about getting run over by a white-tailed deer.
Look, at some point you have to go. If you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it today.
Yeah,
and you just start. It's like you push the baby out of the nest.
I worry now that I got a kid. I worry that there's not enough freedom to make mistakes. I worry that there's not enough freedom.
Like everything's documented
associated with it. You know what I mean? Like you want your kid to kind of be able to run off down the street and kick a ball with their friends, but you can't do that in most parts of this city.
100%.
Yeah.
Now you're actually, it's not funny now. You have to actually start thinking of this shit.
100%. Yeah. Like 100%. Yeah, you got to start thinking about it. Yeah, as soon as you have a baby, like all these things come to mind.
Things that you never put,
So wait, how old is your kid?
When you're
10 months.
When you're so
baby.
Yeah, boy needs a job.
I already got him a paper route set up when he's 5.
He's in Greece right now.
5 cents per cigarette you pick up off the street, kid.
Every Buddhist cigarette you pick off near the Buddha at the dollar.
If it's wet, you just
devil. I'll give you point
off the dollar.
0.06 of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, good Lord. I don't see the
hell yeah. It's gonna gain interest. You should do ADA.
Yeah, you hope. I don't know. That's one thing about Vegas and this culture is like you hope it's. I was blessed with the community that I got raised in, where I had a lot of those freedoms to take risks. But Vegas is a different community and different structure, different layout.
It's changing since we've been kids. I remember growing up here.
Dude.
Yeah. You guys both grew up here?
So I'm originally from Montana.
Oh.
So similar. I don't know where.
Whistling Andy.
Yeah. Actually, right there. So I
ever been there?
No, I haven't been. Well, I haven't been to their distillery. I've been. So they're on Flathead Lake, right? Have you been there?
Yeah, loved it.
Okay, so
Amazing.
I was born in Kalispell, and my grandma lives there. So I go back, and I've done the loop. And if you go right now, it'd be like cherry season, so you can hit all those little stands. Kids are working.
It doesn't seem as risky out there. Maybe because there's more trees. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's spaced out too.
You're like, trees.
Well, when I was,
you're safe.
Well, think about Montana, right? So Montana, I think, is the 3rd or 4th largest state in the union, and it's the 2nd least populated per square mile after Alaska. So there's just not a lot of people out there. They barely have 1 million people statewide for that massive state. So you do have a lot of room to go and grow and make mistakes because nobody's going to know.
Yeah. You don't hear about a lot of Jeffrey Dahmer stories in Montana.
Just Unabomber stories.
How did you hear about them in such a rural place? You know what I mean?
I used to have a thing.
A little easier.
If I ever went with my friends to a gay bar, I'd be like, let's get Dahmer drunk.
Dahmer drunk?
Yeah. Every Thursday.
He's like, the drink specials.
Yeah, didn't know Thursday nights.
Love banana hammocks.
Thursday nights.
It's a cocktail, by the way.
God, just ingenuity.
Thursday nights. Davey's Locker. Banana hammock Thursdays.
Oh, they didn't care. They didn't.
Well, as we're coming towards the end of this.
We are?
I know it.
Yeah, what did we miss?
It's sad. He's referencing. I have a bulletin board that has points I want to look at.
We can talk about anything hospitality. We got into the weeds.
That's what this is. This is what's a real conversation at a bar. You talk shit, you talk business, then you talk shit again.
Yeah,
but talking shit while talking business. So Sandow hits its 10 year.
Yeah, can't wait.
And you were gonna do this big cocktail competition.
Oh, you got me.
And this is our first gotcha, folks.
Well, here's what I think. I think Jamie and I are super excited about
Getting really fucking
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
We were super excited about this cocktail competition. And I thought everybody, I thought people were going to chop at the bit for this. 10K. We're like 10K.
That's big money.
10,000.
Dude, 10,000. So
10,000 first place winner.
Okay, we're gonna put
Only one winner.
Only one.
Guess.
out of nowhere.
Money.
Out of nowhere, we just see posts and it goes, boom. We're doing a $10,000 cash prize cocktail competition, which cocktail competitions are kind of hot in Vegas right now. It's a lot of fun. We're going to talk about why a lot of people didn't sign up right away. But it's like, and it's the coolest competition because a few of the traditionalists were like, first round, 9-ball. It's pretty sick. It's different. You're like, wait, now if you're a freaking loser and you're like, that's nothing to do with cocktailing. You're like, first of all, or bartending or whatever. It's like, well, first of all, a pool has everything to do with the bar. And your pool guests and being part of that culture it just makes sense. Besides the fact, it's a fun way to kind of go from 20 to 10. So first round, 20 people play heads up, 9-ball, go to second round. I love this idea, even though I'm terrified of it because I'm terrible at pool. I'm terrible at bowling.
Yeah,
it's
but
out there.
So if everybody has that mentality, then you should think that, well, I'm going to face off to somebody who's just as bad as me.
I'm going to tell you why you didn't get my submission yet. Bartenders. We're fucking bartenders for a reason.
Oh, that's shit going on.
We need pressure immediately in our presence at all times. We need to be like, fuck, I need to go where?
We didn't give you a date.
You need to
Wait,
be
there
like,
is no date?
if you don't, they didn't put an end date. They didn't say submit by now.
Oh.
Because it's like, I am the worst procrastinator in the entire world. Ask Kyler.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, I'm like, fucking, I will post. And it's like 7 p.m. I'm like, post. I did it. But bartenders will procrastinate. We get distracted easy. We have a lot of things. There's always alcohol being offered to us.
If you have a lot of things, sit tight.
I don't understand.
Not the guy throwing the competition, because I can assure you,
oh no,
we have more things.
I agree.
And we're the ones planning and offering and buying belts. And then when you do all of that,
like your WWE belt?
Oh, we had it. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
dude.
Yeah,
We didn't even
right.
get to the second round.
Like picking out what's in each little corner of that belt, like what's going to make them love it and cherish.
Make a new belt.
It is a dope belt.
Make a new belt every
$10 belt. Not to mention the $10,000. So it's like, so we're sitting there, okay, so what can we do with our time that makes the most sense? That's in the best interest of the trajectory of our success. Oh, well, let's do all this, plan it out, and then let's put it out in the world, and nobody says a thing.
No preamble.
They're too busy.
Literally only posted to their own personal pages. And friends like me reposted because I was super excited. I had every intention.
Wait, did this cocktail competition already happen?
No.
We're
getting to it. Don't ruin the story. So there's this big thing on Facebook between people that are into competitions. Everyone's stoked about it, commenting, and some people are bitching, including me, about the pool. But I'm for it, but I'm also terrified because I'm like, I'm gonna lose. But it's okay. Because 9-ball is not as hard as normal, 8-ball.
Everybody fixated on the pool.
Pool is just intimidating. But don't be a pussy. I was going to do it.
Yeah.
But then second round is now you go into the well and you have to make, what was it? It was like 4 different, there was like well cocktails. I can pull it up.
No, so
Someone
the
has.
second round was make the drink that you basically pitched in the video.
Okay.
Make your own personal
With well spirits.
Yeah, be graded. And then the third round of that weekend was meant to be speed round. You're making 5 drinks, whatever it may be, chugging a beer, eating half a pizza. The person who qualified.
That was it. Yeah, the third round was a lot of fun.
So you had to qualify, and the best 2 of each weekend was then going to go to the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$10,000 is a huge cash prize. First of all, most competitions that I've even been a part of, if they have a cash prize at all, it's like $500.
Yeah, and then they give you these little trinkets.
Exactly. And here's what I'm saying. You didn't put a fucking date. to submit by.
I'm sorry. If someone in my 20s, as broke as I
Dude, you own 3 places and have a side job.
I wash dishes all Father's Day for 5 hours. Let me tell you how easy it is.
Barely anything.
Right. So, in my opinion, it would have been, you would assume that most folks would be like, jump to it. You know, here's my video. Lock me in. I'm there. I got to play a little pool, drink with friends. I feel like the Vegas culture is kind of, when I was coming up in it, I didn't miss.
Oh, you were 7 years old in the salt mines, man. I don't even know what you're talking about. You live a different
You were
life.
castrating bulls.
You were like,
I think I have the black lung, boys.
this guy's like, dude, I can't wait till my son's 9. We're really going to use his help at the deli.
It's
I
easy
still
to
want to
get
know what happened.
comfortable. I think they just, like, you strap a rubber band around
Rubber
it.
bands, and just let it till they fall off.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And
They could have done that. They could have done that to that fella.
Yeah, but they'd have to watch him for at least a week.
Yeah, that's painful. No, but like, you know, if I was as broke as I was in my 20s, or just coming up, and it's just, who cares? Who cares if you're doing well? 10,000 to play pool, eat pizza, and drink.
this is why I hate having
go.
productive friends. I mean, don't get me wrong. That is, you do make it sound very unproductive when you say it like
But
that. You're
the
like, dude,
fact
man,
that
fucking have a
3
great
people said yes.
So you only have 3. So wait, how
I
long?
remember 3. I think Adam O'Donnell said, like, basically-
Ironically enough, the guy who's already got a lot of shit
Yeah.
running his own bar.
yeah,
Hey, man, there's owners and there's not, you
he's
know?
not busy. It's a mindset.
No wonder.
So, like, and I think Zach recorded him at the bar, like, confronted him at the bar, and he basically just poured like a slushy.
They have a fucking
And
delicious
said, "This is a cocktail. I'm going to smoke you." Which there was no cocktail. Nobody knows what it was. So he didn't even follow protocol there. Nobody of that. I didn't see a single other. Like, nobody cares.
But you know he's in
You're gonna
anyway.
Give away 10 grand.
The nice thing, the
$10,000.
nice thing about
You
the
were going to give away.
pool.
Well, we're not going to do it if 2 people sign up. Like, what am I going to have? Zach against Adam O'Donnell, play 1 game of pool, single elimination. You're out. I needed at least like 60 people to participate.
We might have to bump this up a little bit, this podcast, right?
We can go.
We're gonna have no. I mean, we're gonna have to put it up.
I meant in rotation. Like
I meant in rotation because we have like 3 filmed in advance, right? But I'm like,
He's ahead of us. How much do I got to pay?
very big names,
Olivia.
very big names.
I'm sure this one.
I'm telling you, like Livio.
Listen, I used to like roots with a screwdriver. That doesn't put me at the top.
So wait. What's the current status of the cocktail competition now?
There is no
There is no status.
We canceled. Nobody
Canceled.
We had 3 people.
But here's the thing:
And is the 10-year?
I think I got to make $100,000. I don't know what I got to do.
Yeah.
I don't have that money.
it has to justify it somehow. Like also there has to be people that compete. Now the problem is 20 people with such short notice on no set time to submit your recipe, because I am a procrastinator. So I'm like, there's 4 weeks, so I got
A month. That's a whole month.
So I'm going to do a 3:30 week.
I will submit something. Now I'm not going to submit without them.
4 in the morning. You're
I don't think
I'm going to wait till I'm feeling a dopamine rush. I'm going to wait for that perfect dopamine rush. I'm going to be like, you know what? Record me now.
bro, I'm on 30 minutes.
This is my vodka soda, and I will own you at 9 ball. Like, come on.
It's a triple.
Submit it. Like, what bartenders out there don't have a cocktail? They're like, okay, I've submitted the last 3 menus. Who cares?
You're the elephant in the room. There was no submission date.
No, you're correct about that.
I was like, dude, I'm going right up to the edge. I am going to fucking put it in moments before the deadline expires. That is who I am.
He's showing up 5 minutes before you close.
And that's fair.
Whoa.
Sure, we learned.
We
We got a little excited.
I threw a Hail Mary. I was like, Jamison, do you want an 8-top?
Now, on the other side of the coin,
And he was like, why not?
on the other side of the coin, I was talking to like the bartenders at Mott. You know, talking to the bartenders of we didn't have a single submission from the $100 downtown or the bartenders of Mott. Like, nobody seemed to care. So it was like, what?
You grossly underestimate the
I think
proclivities.
this is how you gauge the economy. Everybody's doing really well. Apparently, 10 grand is just small potatoes.
You gauge worse than I can imagine, because I was excited. I feel like there's still a chance. There's a hope and a prayer that we get this. I mean, obviously dates are going to get pushed back Just a touch.
We'll definitely.
Let's cut it down. Let's cut it down into half. Let's go 40.
We're suckers for excitement. We want to do something like this. We just want to make sure that people are interested. You look at over the years, like there used to be cocktail tastings. There used to be like the old Jamison ball. Like they didn't
have a real Jamison.
So enthusiastic about
the
that.
USBG.
I would every year be like, oh, I can't wait till that party.
And then
I'm gonna really
downhill, right? Then it kind of got shitty.
Well, yeah, and I think COVID kind of basically made everybody
everything.
Yeah, it changed everything. But why not? Like, what happened? Why not? What happened to the community? The enthusiasms, the tastings, the events. What happened to all that?
I don't know.
That's
who was paying for that.
I am kind of hopeful for
suppliers predominantly paid for all that stuff.
So now, what happened to those guys?
I mean, they're still out there.
I dropping money.
Yeah, off premise doesn't bartend. You know what I mean? Off premise would refer to anyone that's selling retail liquor, not a bar. So off premise, like on premise would be $1. You're buying drinks at the bar. When you're off premise, you're buying the bottle at Lee's Discount, Total Wine, Corey's Liquors, what have you.
Yeah.
So for clarification for the audience. Oh, also for clarification,
Martingale.
You brought this cool cognac.
So my understanding is you don't like additives whatsoever. I just want to highlight that.
That's correct.
Why?
Well, first of all,
you don't want it. He doesn't want it fortified.
The most honest answer I could give you is I worked for a company that prided not additive free, and it made me drink the Kool-Aid of additive free. That being said, I still continue to drink the Kool-Aid of additive free because you can't justify, to me, is something better made if I had to fuck with it, or if I took it from the way it is and I made it in the most natural way and I didn't alter it, and here's that product.
Yeah.
And you give me that product, I go, this is your hard work in a glass. This is my hard work in a glass. Plus, I didn't like the color, so I added a little caramel.
I go through.
Plus, I didn't like mouthfeel, so I added a little glycerin. Plus, I didn't like the sweetness, so I added a little bit of agave, and I also added a little bit of vanilla because it's a reposado, and people expect vanilla bombs in their reposado. But in 10 months, a tequila cannot get that much vanilla from a barrel. Even in a hot climate like that, it'll get a little bit. It's going to get something, but it's not. When you taste certain brands and you're like, wow, if you're like back here, or I have spirits, if you're back here and you're smelling vanilla, that's additive. That, like, there are certain brands that you can smell the vanilla from here. Not necessarily agave, not the tequila. You can smell the tequila, but you're like, ooh, vanilla. You shouldn't be able to smell vanilla from back here when it's a nuance in a barrel for under a year. Like, that's,
yeah.
So why would you want something with additives?
Yeah.
That's just like your thing with being honest and authentic. Give me exactly what you are and let me be the judge.
Yeah, you decide if you like us.
And little controversy.
And I'm going to take your feedback critically, and I'm going to adjust, to make sure, but if I feel the same way, or maybe kind of reevaluate my opinion of it, I'm going to adjust.
Salute.
So this one I just tasted the other day.
Oh, so you just discovered this?
Yeah, no, literally I was like, oh, I'm in a tasting. Got to bring something. He's mandating it. Well,
what he means is
I looked
crazy.
I looked at the guy, great guy, Scottish fella, David, I think.
He's selling cognac.
I look at the guy, great.
I would assume it was a French fella.
Right. No, you're Scottish. Great guy. And as I looked at him, I said, hey, I'm going to be on a podcast in like 3 days. And I know he doesn't like any additives. So you just mentioned, give me a goddamn
one thing this guy wants everyone to know. It's no additives.
Forgive me. Anyway, I agree with you. I was like, give it an added bottle. I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it on the podcast. He's like, all right.
Yeah,
it's delightful. But also, when I opened Bordeaux, I was infatuated with cognac. I loved it. Benedict Hardy used to come in all the time. I'd take photos with her. I'd consider her, a friend at the time. When you're like opening a French restaurant, like you're infatuated with the spirits of that program. You go to a pub.
So much history.
Now you're infatuated with, beer, whatever it may be. So,
nutty.
Whatever.
It's just delicious.
This is, so I think like 7 years, but yeah.
Very approachable.
Why don't people talk about cognac more often?
Yak?
the yak.
I do believe the yak is
It circles.
It's delightful. I mean, like, my favorite on an island drink.
Wait. Is this like my desert island drink, or I'm in Hawaii, I'm having a nice time, I'm on an island, and I like a cognac?
Both.
Nice. Fuck. I didn't see that coming. Who wasn't a double? You can't triple stamp a double stamp, dude.
Yeah. If I'm like, what is like the, like, you know, broad spectrum, beautiful nuances, delightful spirit, that's like,
If you could only have
Well,
one for the rest of your life.
Shocked.
yeah, if I'm just going to have one.
It's not a spirit where you go,
Yeah, it rarely is. You know what I mean?
you're a fucking
You know,
pussy.
I remember the first time I drank it, I think it was called like Thoroughbred Hardy. Probably like a, you know, $4,000 bottle. I got lucky because we were doing like a Hardy.
Wait, did you say that was one of your...
It was like, no, one of the first times I'm like, God, I love cognac. God, it's amazing.
And Hardy's delicious.
I'm in the back. There's like, it's like a 50 top. We're doing a thing with Hardy, and I'm like pouring each glass. You know what I mean? Like just a half ounce. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, one for me, one for you. I did it like 6 times, and I kept thinking, like, God, I got to take advantage of this because this is delightful. Like, it was amazing. Like,
Who knows when you're going to get to do this again?
yeah, there's no spirit like it of that caliber. Now, I wish
And it could just be gone, too. One
Yeah.
day just be...
sayonara.
Do you know who needs to come on this podcast? Guillaume.
Yeah, Guillaume. Yeah.
Oh, Guillaume's the best. I love that guy. So Guillaume, if you think of Louis Trey in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
you know Guillaume.
Yeah.
You have to know him.
I've tried it a couple of times.
He has a brother, Sebastian Vallet, who looks like a twin, but I don't think they're twins, which is uncanny. Probably 2 years difference in age. And
You're funny.
roughly speaking, 2 years. I don't know if you know that guy, but he was my director of beverage, Guillaume's brother, when I was back there slaving away.
Director of beverage at...
At MGM Grand.
Fuck yeah.
Wonderful guy.
Dude, that's it.
podcast.
I will say
Honor.
Italian brewers got a long way to go.
You don't like that?
I don't know who does.
I think this is
I don't.
This is subjective opinions. I was gonna be like, fan fucking dance.
Listen, I brought a 12-pack of High Life here, so I don't care sometimes.
Hey, they make that in Michigan.
But you're also a beer head. So
I'm not a beer head.
I
No.
trust your opinion on beer more than I trust mine.
I will say that certain cultures are notoriously poor at making beer.
What's
I'm
your
not sure
favorite
why.
brewery in town?
In town?
Yeah.
Ooh,
You think Moretti sucks?
Give me top 3.
Moretti? No, Moretti's all right.
They're Italian.
Literally yesterday at a luncheon with JMO, I looked across the restaurant, saw a box of Moretti, and said, God, Italians, they got work to do.
Like fuckers?
I mean, they do other things incredibly well, but
Sure.
when it comes to beer, how do you do?
Yeah, that's fair.
Best,
Well, I don't-
best,
I
like,
am just
in-town
shocked.
brewery?
Top 3.
So I think,
Top 5 if you want.
top 5?
I challenge you to try.
Oh, I mean, you've got, zombies. Come on.
Zombies is a brewery?
Yeah,
Oh, Zombies out of Boulder City. That's what you're talking about.
No, I think he's wrong about this.
What do you,
Tipo Pils. This is a good beer.
let's take a moment.
It's fine.
This is a good beer.
Tipo Pins, 5.2.
Italian Pilsner, but don't think Peroni. It's the opposite of a Peroni. It's
In all fairness, they have the right bottle. It's dark. That's nice.
Yeah, and they're robbing
5
a
point-
10 at point.
Oh, 11.2 ounces. Is that what you mean?
I mean, Canadians do that too.
Yeah,
Fuckers.
well, I mean, you're not complaining about the 700 milliliter bottles in Europe versus the 750 milliliter bottles in America.
Not yet.
Changing that.
Not yet.
700 bottles.
Guy doing the masses.
It's just like inches. We're like the only country, and we're like, we don't fuck with metric. And they're like, everyone's like, really, dude? You're gonna be those people? And we're like, we're America. We're gonna do that.
I heard that it had something to do with like the actual weights when it came to it. Like they were supposed to be delivered weights when they were figuring out what the national weighting system was going to be. And they just never got the metric system in time. Like the actual physical weights that they would weigh things on to compare them to everything else and like manufacture that for the country. I'm going to have to look that up. But I heard that was the case.
We're all
Still like coming up with new words.
No. Like they were figuring out. Like they were like, we just want to.
Now that you presented the problem,
we'll have to look into it.
it's exactly what we're going to do when I get off this podcast.
Top 5 breweries.
When
and Zombie.
Beer Zombies is great, obviously. Abel Baker did a wonderful job with,
I love those guys.
Stouts.
Are we only talking local?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to love Tenaya
plenty
Creek. I thought Tenaya Creek did an incredible job. I used to love Big Dogs. There was a lot of breweries. What was the Joseph James Citra Rye? I thought was the best beer ever brewed in Vegas. And why? What happened to that?
Joseph James was a Vegas brand?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's gone now?
Gone.
I think
it was
they no longer exist.
Yeah. COVID.
I thought I'm not a beer head, and I feel
roughly.
bad.
Well, that's where Abel Baker got their start. They brewed out of Joseph James before they actually got their...
but they had already established that they were in tandem. They had both the locations going, if I recall correctly.
They were in Henderson.
God, Dave from Craft House.
They just moved, right? Aren't they going downtown?
Ethan Sasan ever done in Vegas? Yeah. There's good brewers out there.
That's what we're saying.
I liked Astronomy Ale Works. You ever go there?
Yeah. Where?
Astronomy Ale Works. They were a few doors down from Craft House. They're shut down now, but they were very similar to Abel Baker in the kind of experimental, heavier, darker stuff that they would do.
I think the Abel Baker guys basically established, like, hey, we're going to make beer, but we're going to make beer for the country eventually. So, and I think they did a good job. And I think they brought a lot of guys on board to do business with. I think that's critical. You know, it wasn't just like, we're just doing beer, you know.
Well, they're kind of, I think, in a sense, kind of how you guys started with Sand Dollar. How was a lot of people who worked locally on the strip decided to get together and start their own thing. They did the same thing. I remember I worked for those guys right before they launched. And we opened up Dry Bar inside a Miracle Mile shop. And they're like, we're going to open a brewery up. And I was like, oh, cool. They're like, yeah, no, like, we're serious about it. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. They're like, how many,
sure,
like, dude, how many bartenders are like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that?
Good too, yeah.
For hate.
Right on.
And they were like,
the amount of people who say that, I hate that. As a business owner, you get that all the
They're
time.
on Coke, by the way.
You get, Jesus, poor fellas. You get that all the time.
90 minutes in.
We got a rock. Are we 90 in? Everybody's tuned out.
They are.
No,
You've never finished enough.
As a business owner, you get it all the time. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And 90% of the time, you're like, that's a shit idea, but I don't want to tell you. Or maybe it's a good idea and I don't know any better. You know what I mean? You got to think both ways at the same time. But the amount of people who just talk about ideas, don't do it. It's like, go do it, bro. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go do it. Why wait? Like, I love that you guys are doing the podcast. You're actually doing it. There's cameras here. There's nice cameras. You have a camera. You're thinking about the sound. You're trying to perfect your craft in a different way.
100%.
I love it. You should be. And I hope to be 19 or whatever the hell. You couldn't remember. So it's not that important. But put a couple notches in this puppy dog, you know?
I do like the idea of leaving a mark on this bar.
I'll mark it. I'll mark it like a...
We should have like a signing thing for your episode.
I mean, if we can...
it'll get boring at like 400. You'll be like, okay, and now you have to do this.
I still enjoy it.
We have the legs. If we have the legs to make it 400 when I'm barely able to fund any of the editing.
You're the only vote here. If anybody's got the legs, you've been standing the whole time. We got these nice Tempur-Pedic cushions.
That's right.
Squeakless.
But no, I mean,
cool cushions.
At some point, 400 episodes sounds dope, but I also think I'm only here because I think that the world needs more authenticity, and I don't really like. Perfect example. If I open my phone right now and I see AI animation, and I'll watch it for a few seconds.
Terrifying.
But I don't. Once I see that the whole thing is completely AI generated and it's no human interaction, I'm like so disassociated and so unimpressed that I'm like, I get it that it is a feat But I also am like, I'm a human. I want human interaction. I don't want computers telling me what human interaction is. So that separating the fake social media style of what we're doing, where I don't mind that a person shows you the perfect way to make a cocktail in one fluid motion, and they cut the lime in the air and it landed in the peeler and they juiced it, and the cocktail's made in 18 seconds and their nails are perfect. And they have like, and then when it's a female creator with a nails like this long, you're like, oh, you've never bartended a day in your life. And it's like all that inauthenticity makes me click off, go like, you don't know, like you're just doing it for money. And
seen those videos with AI? That was disgusting.
That's what I'm saying is there's like I get it that AI is our future and that we're going to be involved with AI, but at what point do people are already so quick to totally disassociate from having the human touch to it? Because it's like now 90% of what I hear words, people don't want to use their own voice. It'll be like, I went to the park, and you're like, oh, another AI voiceover, and you still watch it sometimes, and you're like, oh, I'm being totally consumed. I'm being totally controlled by AI. So my whole idea was, I just want authenticity. I want to show the mistakes. I made a mistake tonight.
Immediately. The only drink you made, you fucked up.
I fucked it up.
But I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Because if I had drank it and been like, that's perfect, I'd look like an idiot.
Boom. And both of us were like, huh.
I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat that you would have known you're that.
Wrote it right on the guy.
And I wrote it. Because it's like, I'll look up the recipe that is supposed to be, even if I've been making a certain recipe, because I want to back check. And I put lime on there.
Once again, how many Trinidad Sours are you making?
Literally off. That's why I don't.
Very rare.
That's why I don't pride myself on memorizing cocktails, because
From a business owner,
High cost.
my brain's what is base of my brain is more valuable for things like operating procedure and understanding the connections of coworkers and understanding people. Way more important to me than learning every single cocktail that could ever be asked to me.
Absolutely.
And I have to like recite it, and you're like, I always use the Alabama Slammer is just the one that comes to my mind. But it's just like any cocktail that you've been hearing forever, I don't care, because I don't get those ordered. Trinidad Sour, we've talked about it 6 times on this podcast. It's the 2nd time it's been made, and it's only because everyone likes Giuseppe and knows him that
I don't care for him.
I've heard he's an asshole.
not a fan.
Oh,
And it's funny
Braves halves. Good auger.
because Christian said that he's like Giuseppe hates this cocktail now.
Oh, I bet he does.
You know,
Oh, get it.
but
You
I
gotta
just
deal
want to
with
say that the whole idea is authenticity, and that I think that it's okay to make mistakes. I made a mistake with the Trinidad Sour, and I learned. I'm like, now, do you think I'll not ever know lemon is in its Trinidad Sour?
No, that's why I picked it.
And it's built into you forever. That mistake made it better. So I don't know. I like authenticity.
Mistakes are the best teacher.
Hospitality the technique is back burner compared to the theatrics, the human expression, the emotional intelligence. That's all on the front. We're on stage. Everything else, the technique, back burner. You can mess up 300 cocktails.
It's like, are you like
How you interact with the human.
does people like
That's all that matters. Nobody cares about anything else. Nobody gives a shit you made the drink wrong, or anybody else, or any bartender, or any bar. Are they leaving being like, can't wait to see that guy again? That's the business.
dude? I love it. Well, this is a perfect time. Let's go to Sand Dollar and check out what band.
I'm busy. I'm sorry. See you there.
This is normally where we would cheers.
All right. Well, cheers. You don't even highlight. We didn't even get into macro brews.
I know he didn't like.
I want a round 2 and like
What's the band that you said you're
daring greatly, Sandor Lounge. When you watch this, they'll be long gone. So you missed your opportunity.
He'll be back.
And I certainly hope so. Hey, Sandor Lounge, La Casa de Juliette, incredible food, incredible service. What else we got?
I mean, dude,
Sandor downtown.
10-year anniversary. We're gonna make this cocktail contest.
10 years, I survived. Nobody does that. I don't know how. Figure it out. See you next time. on Reading Rainbow.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
See you tomorrow. Peanut Nor.
You're a blast.